Hi, my name is Matt Norman, and I teach English 010 on the Vincennes campus. The purpose of this video is to provide any instructors who are making their own version of English 010 on other sites some ideas for how to structure the assignments and what we do in the various categories. I'll be specifically talking about the essay assignments and briefly about the portfolio assignment, but mostly I wanted to provide information about my kind of theory on assignment design and how it builds throughout the semester. I will talk about some of the other categories briefly as well. If at any point you have any questions as you're working on your course, please don't hesitate to contact me. My email address and phone number are on this page. Email is probably the best way to get a hold of me, and so you can see that there. It's mnorman@binu.edu. I'm happy to assist in any way that I can, including forwarding any materials that might be helpful as you're working on your course. You can see here the course grading breakdown. This comes from our syllabus document. Many of these categories are designed to be flexible towards whatever instructors want to do with them, including the quizzes, tests, and exercises category, which I use for chapter review and outlines and other kind of brainstorming, writing process type things. Critical reading activities, I personally use reading process guides to fulfill that category. That's a document that we developed on this campus to take students through the different stages of the reading process, from pre-writing all the way to critical reading and analysis. And it's a really effective document, very comprehensive for a given reading. And so students do a number of those throughout the semester, but it doesn't have to be that document by any stretch. Still, if you have interest in seeing that, I'm sure we can forward that along to you. Again, just check my email address and let me know. The summaries are done multiple times throughout the semester as well. They're usually paragraph-long summaries over the readings that we do. If we're doing a reading class, we're probably also doing a summary over it, and that helps prepare students for English 101, where a lot of those skills are used frequently. And then the reflection journal, the way that I do mine is as a weekly reflection journal, and that's to practice sort of metacognitive strategies, including their feelings and attitudes towards reading, writing, and learning. And the more that students develop those thoughts, the better their learning goes. There's tons of research out there that shows that. Beyond that, the reflection journal is useful because students are writing at a regular clip, regardless of what stage of the writing process we might be in, a summary or an essay. They're writing every week for at least 100 to 200 words. I ask a lot of different questions on the reflection journal, including simple ones like, do you like writing? Why or why not? And ask them to just kind of expound upon their experiences that way. So it gives them an opportunity to think about their reading and writing and learning in a lot of different ways, including very personal ones, and that's perfectly fine as well. 3 major essay assignments are included, and those are kind of what the entire semester is structured around, or at least the kind of the major units of the semester are structured around. Unit essays 1 and 2 are the instructor's choice. Essay 3 we ask to be the argumentation persuasive essay, just because that's very vital for success in English 101, where most of the writings are persuasive or argumentative. Then the final assignment is the portfolio with reflections, which is a way to revise and do a little bit of extra reflection in order to kind of wrap up the entire semester and make sort of this statement, this argument of growth and evidence being revised essays and being able to explain how have I grown? I thought for this next part it might be helpful just to kind of see the 3 different essay assignments that I use. I've used these for a couple of semesters now, and I'll explain kind of how they all fit together later. But essay number 1 is a career and goals essay, with the idea being that it's a personal experience or a personal opinion essay. In some ways, that it is an exemplification essay where they're supposed to just project forward what is the job that they want to have after they finish college, and what do they hope to do with that job. Why is that the job they want? And the more that they think about those examples and can describe them and detail them, I also hope that it will just kind of plant that seed in the back of their heads that this is something that I really want, and so that will provide a little bit of motivation, perhaps, as they go through this course and, of course, many other semesters worth of courses. Essay number 2 is a problem-solving analysis essay. It's also really, when it comes down to it, a cause and effect essay. I try not to list them by the rhetorical modes that they identify with, and instead kind of focus on the task or the goal that they're seeking to accomplish. And regardless, the problem solving analysis essay, just ask them to kind of cast their gaze outward, right? The first essay is very internal. This one is external. I want them to think about the issues that are present in the world today, both at the kind of the global level, and some of them want to do more like on a local level, and that's actually great. That works even better sometimes. But they just pick a couple of those issues and they explain some of the reasons how and why those issues happen. And as I say there, the idea is just that there are a lot of problems, but what are some of the ones that you find to be most important, and that gets them towards making decisions, and I think that's a good step towards critical thinking. The third essay is the argumentation persuasion essay, and I have them make an argument for why college students should support financially, in terms of their time, whatever, a specific nonprofit or charitable organization. So they choose a nonprofit organization, they do a little bit of reading and research into that, and then they just kind of come up with the reasons why students should support that, the good things that this organization does around the world, that kind of thing. And so that gets them involved in thinking about helping on a kind of a more local level, potentially. And then because they've done research online a lot of times, looking through the organization's website or news stories about what they've done, they have some ideas to put into the paper, and it's a natural way to integrate sources into the paper as well. In terms of what we're going for with this 3-essay sequence, you can kind of see my kind of pedagogical theory behind this. The career essay is when it comes down to it, an exemplification essay, and it's all about developing examples. And they have very personal goals towards those examples. You're focusing on their individual futures. That's a great place to start, because in terms of like gathering data and trying to figure out why something is, well, what better place to look to start off with than personal reasoning? And then the trick is just articulating it. But again, that's a very good place to start. Then we kind of cast our gaze outward, like I said before, and we start thinking about problem solving and problem solving analysis. And it's about analyzing examples, not just developing the examples, but analyzing the examples and making choices. And it takes a more global view at things, thinking about the world's future, not just my personal future. The volunteering essay is persuasive argumentative, so it's about supporting positions now, developing examples that are supportive of a particular position. And it kind of melds some of the elements from the previous essays, so it has a very practical focus, thinking about simple ways to help people. So there's this element of kind of like the future and service, and what's my role in the world after I get out of college, in these 3 different ways. And I think that kind of links everything together. Beyond that, there's an element of kind of increasing difficulty and kind of the scaffolding of skills that happens throughout the essays as I currently have them constructed, in that the career essay is 500 to 600 words. The examples are personal stories and some logical analysis. Obviously, there has to be a little bit for why those would be important things, but then we shift it. It's for the problem solving essay, it's 600 to 800 words, just moving that up a little bit more. And then there's a lot more logical analysis and maybe some outside source information. It's not required, but if they want to do that, that makes a lot of sense. Sometimes they choose the article that they would have read prior to starting the actual brainstorming and writing of this essay, which makes a lot of sense. It's about that topic, indeed. Then the third essay, again, we're just increasing the word count. The next step, 800 to 1,000 words, and there's now the use of outside source information that's required. So we're just kind of ratcheting up those skills a little bit as we go along, so that by the time they get to that volunteering essay, they're doing an essay that's very, very similar to where they would come in for English 101, having a little bit of understanding of research, that will have put together a works cited page based off of that source information. They will have written an argumentative, persuasive essay, and there's a counter argument in that one as well. And they're just doing everything that you need to do in English 101, getting their feet wet with it, at least. Then finally, I just wanted to touch on the reflective portfolio assignment. As I mentioned at the top, it's a good wrap up for the semester, because it asks them to consider everything that they've done over the semester in terms of their learning writing skills and reading skills, and then just how they think they have gotten better as a student. And so there's a reflective component that asks them to articulate that. Again, a little bit more of that reflective metacognitive element in there. If they can't think of anything that they've gotten better at, then that might be a bad sign for them, but usually they absolutely can. And relates to all the things we've been talking about through the semester with thesis statements and outlining and revision and editing, and that's really good. And then also as a part of that, they include revised copies of their essays. The big assignment, but by the time that they're done with it, they have this really great collection of materials that just shows the growth over the semester through the revisions as well as the reflection. And this is something we like to kind of keep mostly in lockstep with everybody, just because it is frequently our assessment project for when that comes up. So that's something that I know that we'll make sure everybody has access to. Word choice and the way that it's exactly written in the document, that can be malleable for sure. It's very flexible. But as far as these elements with the essays and the reflection, we think that that's a really effective way for students to finish up their semester. And with that, I'll just kind of end here by putting my contact information on the screen once more. Again, my name is Matt Norman, and my email address is there, mnorman@binu.edu. I am positive we're going to be forwarding some materials and things for you to use with or without modification, but if not, you can contact me, and I'd be glad to send you anything that I have that would be helpful. Thanks a lot, and good luck in preparing your course.